Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I am your host, Will Ortner, and today we're going to dive into the latest ESPN article from one Ben Solak and why he has made it crystal clear what the Chargers are going to do in the upcoming 2026 NFL Draft. It's less than a week away, and it seems pretty obvious to me. It seems pretty obvious to Ben Solak. We're going to go through all of that in today's show. First, let's start with the draft picks for the Chargers because it's not like they are a team without a decent amount of capital. Is it ideal? No. You'd like to have more than 5 picks. I think if you're general manager Joe Ortiz, but you have 5 picks, one through each of the first 4 rounds, and then, of course, you have one in the 6th round as well. There's a multitude of needs for this Chargers team, but again, a multitude of picks, so you're going to be able to target a couple of different spots. Now, interior offensive line is the most glaring need that this Chargers team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Chargers are going to go and attack that first. Where will they go? Who should they draft? You let me know down below in the comment section, who do the Chargers absolutely have to take in the draft next week? Is there a player? Are there a multitude of players? Let me know what your personal opinion is down below before we even get into today's video. Let's start with this quote from Solak on the young core of the Chargers. And I think it's important that he talks about that young core because it kind of shapes his ideas for this draft. Here's a list of Chargers offensive starters under 28 years old. Running back Omarion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, wide receiver Quentin Johnston, wide receiver Tre Harris, tight end Oronde Gadsden, offensive tackle Rashawn Slater, and offensive tackle Joe Alt. Offensive guard Trevor Penning is another one, but I'm not so sure that that's a good thing. That was mean, Ben, but yes. Justin Herbert, he's technically not under 28 because, well, he just turned 28. But he's also at 28 years old. So to sit here and say that this Chargers team does not have a good young core would be incorrect. And this team needs to use its young core to put themselves in a position to where they can win and not just win the AFC West, not just win the AFC Conference, but win a Super Bowl. The draft should be used to build around the young core or to, in fact, gain new members of said young core. So the rest of today's video, we're going to look at the young core and the needs that this Chargers team has and the different questions or different paths that this Chargers team could take. Because to sit here and say that there is just one path would be incorrect. But there is a correct path that the Chargers should take. Before we get into any of that, though, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. The playoffs are here in basketball. Baseball's getting underway. And it's time to cash in with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers. If you're a baseball guy or gal, you could choose stats such as hits, home runs, and strikeouts, or whatever stats you want across several sports. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. That includes myself and producer Cyril. You can follow us on Prize Picks and get the picks before they even get posted on the show. I have a lineup for the basketball action. Danny Advia, more on his points, rebounds, and assists. Victor Wembanyama, more on his double-double. It's a demon play, by the way. Demon. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. That link is going to be down in the comment section and description of today's video. You click that link, take you right where you need to go. So one of the paths that the Chargers could go down is if they look for a wide receiver. Now, we know that Quentin Johnston is not going to go anywhere, or at least there's no plans for him to go anywhere right now, according to general manager Joe Ortiz. So when we look at the depth chart for the Chargers, to say that this is a desperate need would be, well, 1, incorrect, but 2, There is still a spot, I believe, for this group to grow because I think a couple of the wide receivers are a bit too similar. When we look at the top three wide receivers that are right now on this roster, you don't have 1,000-yard receiver amongst them last season. In fact, you barely have 1,800 yards between those three. In fact, my personal opinion, that's not good enough. 15 touchdowns. That's a crew that is good. It's solid. It's not good enough for where this roster is. It's not good enough for where this roster needs to be. Now, I'm not saying that you need to use number pick 22 and go and get a wide receiver, but using a pick early on, I did it in the Chat Sports mock draft. Maybe that's an avenue that this Chargers team can go down. Maybe that's an avenue that this Chargers team could focus on since they've made it clear that they're not at least ready yet to sign a free agent wide receiver. Ben Solak says, I don't believe that this is the way for this Chargers team to go. And I agree with him. I think it would be kind of a waste because you're not in a desperate need for wide receiver. You're in a need for a wide receiver. You'd like a better one. You'd like one that would add more strength to this crew or to make this position room more of a strength for your team. So then do you pivot to the defensive side of the football? There's a multitude of different reasons why. You lost Odafe Oweh in free agency. You got guys that could be leaving in next year's free agency. You got guys who are getting a little long in the tooth. Well, where could this Chargers team go? Right now, Derwin James and Thule, those are two guys that need extensions. These are two guys that are going into the final year of their contracts. Derwin James, he's been a Pro Bowler. Thule, he is a fantastic edge rusher for this team. Definitely feels like some money needs to go their way. Maybe the Chargers look at these guys and say, hey, we're in contract negotiations right now for an extension. Maybe they want too much money. We'll go and sign their replacement. Maybe we'll go draft a Dylan Thieneman if he's there. Maybe we'll go draft an Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Maybe we'll go draft a TJ Parker or an R. Mason Thomas, obviously not in the first round, or a Zion Young or a Cassius Howell, whoever you want to throw in there. When you look at Khalil Mack, it's only a matter of time before his retirement is coming. There were questions on if he would retire this year. There was a wondering from a lot of Chargers fans if last year was the last that we had seen of Khalil Mack. At a certain point, as good as he has been, that doesn't mean that he's going to just continue to play forever. Unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated. The man has literally never lost a battle. He battled two guys into a stalemate, Tom Brady and Barry Bonds. And, well, Barry might have. We'll just leave it at that. Denzel Perryman, he's going to be 34 years old in December as well. And look, I know that people are saying your mid-30s are the new mid-20s or late 20s or whatever old people tell themselves to make themselves feel better. But 30 is getting old in the National Football League. And I didn't even mention Tony Jefferson, who, by the way, has retired before. He's on his second career. The defense is getting old. So it would make a lot of sense for General Manager Joe Ortiz and head coach Jim Harbaugh to say, we need to get younger. We need to find a way to keep a lot of these defensive guys while also kind of phasing out some of the elder statesmen, the old guard, if you will. Ben Solak, he doesn't believe that this is the right way for this team to go. I don't necessarily believe that this is the right way for this team to go. I believe that this team, personally, is good right now on the defensive end. Or at least you can use non-premium picks to go and get a player that can help make this team young again. The last idea or the last path is draft for the offensive line. It's very clear right now when you look at this offensive line roster that it's good. It's fine. It's not great. But it could be great. And the way for it to be great is for the Chargers to go and get this offensive line some help that it needs. Because right now at this point, we know what Cole Strange is. We know what Trevor Penning is. And if those are the guys who we are expecting to be the starters for this team, well then shoot. The Chargers might be in trouble when it comes to December football, January football. And that's even if Slater and Alt stay healthy. And Biotish. Biotish upgrade, clearly. Are the other guys? I don't know, Jim. To quote Tony Romo. Ben Solak had this to say on the Chargers' offensive line needs. But the Chargers should pass on all of them, every single one, to just take another offensive lineman. A good swing tackle. A challenger to Strange at right guard. Herbert had a pressure rate of 43.3% last season per NFL Next Gen Stats. That was the 7th highest of a quarterback minimum of 400 dropbacks over the past decade. David Carr retired in his career because he got hit so much. The bottom line, says Solak, draft a good guard, prepare for defensive departures and age regression, and then draft another guard. I could not agree more. It's why I've been banging the drum for Vega Ione. It's why I would be okay if the Chargers actually did move up in the second round to go get Emmanuel Pregnon. The Chargers need more guard help. And I understand that Mike McDaniel's system, you don't necessarily need to have a top-of-the-line offensive guard. You don't need to have a Hall of Fame type of guard that is playing there for you. You don't need Zach Martin. But you need better than what you have right now, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making a mistake. But I don't think that I am, because an NFL expert like Ben Solak agrees with me. Do you like Solak's plan for the Chargers? To draft a guard, then draft another one? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. Do you like that plan? Because I'm telling you right now, full stamp of Will Ortner approval. Yes, I agree. In fact, I could not agree anymore. Hit that subscribe button if you're just finding Chargers now and you love the Los Angeles Chargers. We have videos out daily on the latest news and rumors on your favorite team in LA. You do not want to miss out on any of those. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Can't wait to see you next time. And bolt up!